Bctv local and African news summary for Tuesday, October 7th. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, CENTAL, is demanding answers over the reported construction of a $10 million US presidential villa in President Joseph Boakai's hometown of Foya, Lofa County. Mr. Alexander B. Cummings of the opposition Alternative National Congress, the ANC, says his party represents what he calls the only viable option for real change in 2029. Lack of affordable housing is worsening the homelessness crisis in Kenya. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, CENTAL, is demanding answers over the reported construction of a $10 million US presidential villa in President Joseph Boakai's hometown of Foya, Lofa County. Executive Director Anderson Niame said that the government must disclose the project's funding source, contractor selection, and purpose, noting that no such allocation exists in the national budget. CENTAL is also calling for sanctions against Chief Justice Yami Gbese over his son's controversial judicial appointment, describing it as a breach of ethics. The group is urging the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and the Asset Recovery Task Force to investigate both matters immediately. The newly elected political leader of the opposition Alternative National Congress, the ANC, Mr. Alexander B. Cummings, says Liberians must not continue to recycle political disappointments, stressing that his party represents what he called the only viable option for real change in 2029. Appearing Sunday on Spoon TV, Cummings said, former President George Weah's CDC lost the 2023 election because it failed to deliver on its key promises to the Liberian people. He argued that voters turned to President Joseph Boakai's rescue mission, hoping to be saved from hardship, but nearly 2 years later, Liberians have not been rescued. Cummings says the ANC is the only option for real change in 2029, arguing that both the former CDC government and the current administration have failed to meet Liberians' expectations. He urged President Boakai to succeed so that ordinary Liberians can live better, but warned that progress so far is not promising. Cummings vowed to fight corruption, create jobs, and prioritize fair wages, saying, without decent pay, corruption will always follow. The opposition ANC held its national convention over the weekend in Kakata, Margibi County, and elected new officers who will take the party to the 2029 general and presidential elections. In more local news, former Press Union of Liberia President Peter Kwekwe has cautioned against a proposal by the Liberian National Bar Association to license journalists, warning it could restrict free speech. Writing in an op-ed, Kwekwe said journalism is a constitutional right under Article 15 of the Constitution, not a privilege the state should control. He acknowledged growing unprofessionalism in the media, but urged stronger self-regulation, training, and ethical enforcement, not government licensing. Kwekwe stressed that licensing invites control, while self-regulation builds credibility. You're listening to the Bctv News Summary. Away from Liberia, South Africa has dispatched a team of top investigators to Paris to assist French authorities probing the death of Ambassador Nafi Mtwitwa, whose body was found Tuesday after a fall from a 22nd floor hotel room. Police Commissioner Fanny Masimola says 5 senior officers will ensure a transparent investigation. Ambassador Mtwitwa, 58, was reported missing after sending his wife a troubling message that hinted at suicide. While foul play hasn't been ruled out, early findings suggest a deliberate act. Mtetwa, a former police minister and ally of Jacob Zuma, was recently named in a corruption inquiry. And finally, Kenya is facing a deepening homelessness crisis with tens of thousands forced to sleep on the streets or in slums due to poverty and lack of affordable housing. The 2018 census recorded over 46,000 street dwellers, while nearly 40% of Kenyans live below the poverty line. In Nairobi's Kibera slum, families struggle to pay rent for leaking mud houses as jobs remain scarce. The government says it is building 100,000 new homes under its affordable housing program, but experts warn the country's 2 million home deficit requires stronger social housing efforts and global cooperation. The weather forecast for Tuesday, October 7th in Wanjima City, Lofa County, northwestern Liberia. Expect a mostly cloudy day with a bit of rain developing in the afternoon. Temperatures will reach a high of 83 degrees but will feel warmer around 94 degrees. The currency exchange rate is 181 Liberian dollars to 1 United States dollar. To summarize, the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, CENTAL, is demanding answers over the reported construction of a $10 million United States dollar presidential villa in President Joseph Boakai's hometown of Foya, Lofa County. Mr. Alexander B. Cummings of the opposition Alternative National Congress, the ANC, says his party represents what he calls the only viable option for real change in 2029. And lack of affordable housing is worsening the homelessness crisis in Kenya. That's the Bctv news up to the minute.